Okay, so previous session we learnt about all object-oriented features what we have in JavaScript, how inheritance polymorphism works in JavaScript. Now we need to know about JavaScript event binding, how event binding works. We need to know about event binding. Actually, we used events in various examples, but technically we will see detailed concept today. So what is event in technical terms? Event is a message sent by sender to its subscriber in order to notify the change. Event is a message sent by sender to its subscriber in order to notify the change. That is the official definition actually. I will explain that what it is. So sender sends a message to subscriber. Actually, subscriber comprises of actions to perform. Subscriber contains actions to perform. And sender defines when the actions need to perform. Sender defines when the actions need to perform. Actually, event uses a software design pattern called observer. Event uses a software design pattern called observer. It is a communication pattern. It is a communication pattern. So this is a very important term to remember, which design pattern event follows. Event follows a software design pattern called observer. Observer. Event follows observer pattern. It is a communication pattern. In software design patterns, it comes under communication pattern. Let's understand this point. What is sender? What is message? How it works actually. Let's see. Actually, this is we are writing like this. We have a function, some insert click. So we are writing button on click, insert click, insert click. And this is insert button. Insert is the button. Generally, when we learnt about these events, one general idea about the event usually people get is what is happening here. Generally, people think that we have a function called insert click, and this function is called when user clicks the button. So that means generally people think that we are calling function. We are calling function. So that means there is a function and we are calling the function. But in technical terms, we are not calling function. We are not calling function. Actually, we are pointing towards function. We are not calling the function. We are pointing towards function. That means generally people think that we are writing a function and we are calling the function here. That's wrong. We are not calling the function. Actually, there is a function. We are pointing towards that function. So this event is a function pointer. That is a function pointer. So event uses a delegate mechanism. Delegate mechanism. Delegate mechanism means usually it is a function pointer. Delegate mechanism means function pointer. Event uses a delegate mechanism. Delegate mechanism means function pointer mechanism. So it is not calling the function, it is pointing towards the function. For example, see, suppose we have a head section in that script and we have a function, or I'm not having a function, body, and we have button insert. On click is equal to insert click. I'm writing like this. And generally, there is no function called insert click. If there is no function called insert click and you are trying to call that function, then obviously it should show error. That means there is no function by that name and you are trying to call it. You can see here in this, I will go to console. In the console, we will check here. In the console, there is no error. If there is no function and you are trying to call a function which is not there, then it should show error saying that there is no insert click. Where is this insert click? But it is not showing. So that means it is not calling the function. Okay, let's see. When I click insert button, then it will try to point towards that function, but there is no function. So now you see, when I click insert, it will try to point towards that function and there is no function. Now it shows error. So it says that insert click is not defined. If you are having function calling mechanism, then while loading itself, it will show message saying that there is no function by this name, but it is not doing that. It is showing the message when we clicked the button. That means event is not calling the function. Event is pointing towards the function. So that is why it is called delegate. Delegate means function pointer. Event uses function pointer. So we are not calling the function, we are pointing towards the function. In this, actually, in this concept, this is called subscriber. This is subscriber. Subscriber contains actions to perform. What actions to perform? It is defined here. So what actions to perform? It is defined here. So function defines the actions to perform. It is subscriber. Now on click, insert click. That means on click, this is sender. This is sender. This sender sends a notification to the subscriber. That means it sends a message to subscriber saying that button clicked, you have to do these actions. That means sender will send a message to the subscriber. Subscriber will define the functionality. It will do the functionality. Now in this, very important is on click is called event. On click, we call this as event. On click, it is pointing towards a function. On click, it is pointing towards a function. This is called, we call this as event handler. What is event? What is event handler? Event defines when it should do the functionality. Event handler defines when and which functionality it should do. When to perform, that is event. When clicked, what should be performed? That is event handler. So we have event and event handlers. So usually, suppose syntactically, we define a function insert, and here we are having a button on click. Insert click. Insert is the function. Like this, we have some button insert. Now here on click is event. On click, what it is doing, insert function, it is pointing. This is event handler. Event handler. Event and event handler. So when you are configuring any event, on click is only the name of the event. And on click, what need to perform, that is event handler. So you should know difference between an event and an event handler. So event defines when to perform, and event handler defines when and what to perform. That is the difference actually. Event handler defines when and what to perform. When and what to perform. So when to perform, what to perform, that we configure through event handler. And important is when you are dealing with events, every event handler, we call it as default event arguments. Default event arguments. Every event can have two default arguments in JavaScript. Two default arguments in JavaScript. Every event can have two default arguments in JavaScript. Every event can have two default arguments in JavaScript. One is A, this, and B event. Actually, this comprises of current object properties. This comprises of current object properties. Object properties means current object properties like name, ID, class. So class name and value. So width, height, all these comes under that. This comprises of object related properties. And event comprises of event related properties. Event related properties, like every event has some properties like client X, client Y, key code, char code, so shift key, like this. All this comes under event arguments. Event related properties and object related properties. So every event have two default arguments. So one is this, another one is event. This is used for sending information about object, and event is used for sending information about event related properties. So here you can see in this now we have event insert click. I will write a function insert click. Now we have a function pointing towards that. Now when you are pointing towards that function, pointing towards the function, for example, there can be several buttons or several elements on click. They can point towards the same function, insert click. They can point towards same function. This also using support insert record. So there can be another button. So on click is equal to insert click. All can point towards the same. Suppose insert some option like column, insert field, like this I am giving. Now the point is all are pointing towards the same function. That means function is one, all are pointing towards same function. It's possible. It's possible. Why it is possible? Because, for example, suppose if I ask in how many ways I can save a file, then you have so many options. You will say you can click save button in toolbar. You can say press control plus yes. You can say that file menu save option. Now for these three are done from three different locations. Now will you write three functionalities? We will not write three functionalities. All three are doing same work. That means how many functions will be there? Only one function will be there. And all three will point towards the same function. That situation comes regularly. From three different locations, you are doing the same task. But important, this function should know from where save is used. Is it toolbar save? Is it shortcut save? Shortcut save is control yes. Is it menu save? From where they saved, this function should know. How it knows? all are pointing towards the same function, then how it knows from where they saved? That is possible by sending the information about these controls to this function. How we can send information about these controls to this function? By using this. This sends information about the object. Here you see now, I'm using one argument, this. All are using this. All are using this. This is default argument. That is one default argument. Now, you know that if a function is passing parameter, there must be a formal parameter. I will use obj. Now, what this can do? It comprises of current object properties. What is current object? Button. What are button properties? Nothing are there. Button don't have any properties as of now. So we will put some properties. Button name insert. Button ID, some btn insert, like that. So button have some class, some btn primary, like this. So it has some properties. So name, this is insert record. ID btn insert record. And class btn some success, like this. Another here, name insert field. ID btn insert field. Class btn some danger, like this. Now here I want this buttons related information to send to this insert. Who is sending? It is done by using this. This can send information about the object. That means this object can collect all these details. That means this object contains name, ID, class. I will display here document.write. I'm using button name. I'm using button name. And how to access? obj.name. That means this object can read this name. Similarly, so in the next line, I will keep everything in a new line. Okay. In the next line, BR, we have button ID. And here we are defining obj.id. And we have button class. So we have obj.class name, because class is not a property. Class name is property. Now I will access that and see here. Now you can see all are pointing towards same function, but they have different functionality. I click insert field, so it will get that information. I click on insert record, it will get that information. I click on insert, it will get general. That means 3 buttons need not to have 3 events, 3 functions. So we can have only one function managing all the 3. This is good and bad. Good is, if you remembered in Angular, I told you static, non-static. If we want continuous operations under one function, under one memory, then better use this. If you want discrete operations, insert, disconnect, update, disconnect, delete, disconnect, then better use the separate functions. Use one function if you want continuous operations. Use different functions if you want discrete operations. But if you are using one function, then how that function knows which button you clicked? That is done by using this keyword. So syntactically here, how we can use this keyword. This keyword syntax is like this. So we have a function, we have a button. So button name as btn insert, button value as insert like this. And here we are having a function. This function is pointing towards it. That means this function is insert. It can have obj, and obj dot name, we can access obj dot value and obj dot some class name, like this we can do. But for that we have to add event also. I haven't added event above. In the button you have to use on click is equal to, so insert, and we have to use this keyword. By using this keyword we can pass it. And if it is having name, value, you can access and you can use it. So information about object is sent by using this. So this is a reserved one. This is a reserved one. That means it is reserved. So you have to use exactly like this. Capitalization, everything matters. That is one event argument. Another event argument is there. I will copy this. We will design one reasonable example also. Another option is event argument. That means we have event arguments. Instead of this, I am sending event. Instead of this, I am using the word event. This event can send information about event, not button. About event means click. Every event has some properties. Every event has some properties. For example, what are event properties? You can access them now here. For that, I will use a reference called E. E is an event argument. A formal parameter, you can give any name. It doesn't matter. Reasonably, we are using E, event argument. What you can access by using this event? Generally, for example, suppose we have a button. So we have a button, or we have a link. Generally, we ask one question like, you see, suppose I am using MS Word. In MS Word, http://www.amazon.in, a link is created. They will give one option. Generally, link means you click, it will open. But they will ask here, click open, not possible. They will say that control plus click. Control plus click to open. Now the question is, how it knows I used a control key or not? Click OK, but click with which key? Control key, click, left click or right click? Click, single click or double click? Click where? That means click is an event, but that event have a lot of properties. Every event have lot of properties. Through that you can understand from where that event fired up, how that event fired up. So information about object is important. Information about event also important. So how you send information? That means you see, if I click normal, nothing will happen. When I use control plus click, then it will open. How it knows that I used control click? So that is the point here. So you can see here now, suppose I'm using a simple, this is not button. Let's do one thing. Here I will write a simple image source and public images, some jacket. Okay. And here width 100, height 100. And I will put some paragraph here saying that control plus click to open. That means now I am giving that here, control plus click to open. Then for this image, I am writing on click. That means open product. This function should fire up. So on click, this is function. So open product should fire up. Now generally it should fire up only when they clicked with control. Now how this event tells this function that they clicked using control key. So that is sent by using event. Here in event, this event we collect here E, and we write a condition. If E dot CTRL key means they used control key. E is used to get the information about event. Remember, event contains lot of details. If you want to know what details it contains, you can write a iterator. I am simply writing an iterator for where property in E, and document.write, we are printing every property. This is just to show you what properties this E object contains, event contains. Let's see. So I click on it. These are all the properties it contains. So many properties are there for event. Every event have lot of properties. Every event have lot of properties. So as a developer, you can know about the properties because you already learned how to read an object. When an object is provided to you, you must be able to understand what properties it may contain. That means we have to write a program and get the properties and see what it contains. We use a simple iterator. By using that, we can read all properties. So here we will use the logic now. What is it? If E dot control key, that means if they used a control key, if it is true, then what should happen? Window dot open, it should open. Already we learned how to open in a separate window. It should open / public / images jacket.jpg and jacket, and here width is so 400, height is 300. Else what should happen? Else we will put an alert saying that please use control key. This message should come. That means now you see, when I click on this normally, then it says please use control key. And I clicked on it with control key. Then it should open in a separate window. That means how do we know it opens in a, means how do we know whether they used a control key or not? So that we can do by using this technique. We can do that by using this technique. So generally, when you are accessing, that's how we can access and understand about the event. Event have a lot of properties. It's not only control key. You can even know where they clicked. X-axis, Y-axis, so many. For example, see now. So I'm just using here event related document dot write. I'm saying so X position. So we can access E dot client X. We have a Y position. Yeah, Y position. And we can just define E dot client Y. And we have some control key. Then we can define here E dot CTRL key like this. Now you can see when I click on it, it will get the details and display. Where I clicked the position, X-axis, Y-axis, control is not used. Suppose I used control key and clicked, then it shows control is true. These are very important to handle various types of interactions in later stage. So that is the reason you need to know these two examples. One is for this, another one is for event. So two default event arguments are there. One is this, another one is event. We can use both. We can use any one. That means here I can send this and event. That means we can send the information about the image as well as event. Then here we need two formal parameters. First one for obj is for image and E for event. So here I can access now image source src. How to get it? By using obj.src. I can get that src. Suppose width, how to get the width? I can just use obj.width. It will get the width. Now you can see that you are accessing image related properties and event related properties. So object related properties are accessed by using this. Event related properties are accessed by using event. Sometimes you need both. Sometimes you need only one. Sometimes we don't need them. Depending on requirement. You can send both. That means event, example, event and object, this, right? Event and this. We can use both. Another important is here, how to use them in situation. I will show you how we can work with them. So first we need to understand how do we pass them. Here one more option is that you can also send. So you can also send specific value, specific property to function. You can also send specific property to function. You can also send specific property to function. That means you can send like this. You can say button on click is equal to insert into that this dot value. So, and it is having a value called insert. Now the function insert is going to get directly the value, and it is going, now value is not an object. Value is just directly a string. That means we are sending directly value only. If I send this, it will send all details. If I say this dot value, it will send only value. It will send only value. It will not send other details. Because sending an object will send all details, but this will send only that. That means val, if I pass val here, val means we are accessing which word? Here we are accessing insert. The value is insert. That means we can send directly value into it. We can send directly the value into it. So that means it's not necessary that you have to send all details. I can send only specific detail. That means I can send only this dot src. If you send this dot src, now this is not an object. This is just src. And that is only a string. I have to just use src here. I cannot access width now, because you are sending only specific value. Only that value will come. You can see only that value will come. It's not necessary you have to send all details. You can send only specific details, so that it will send only that we can access and use. Sending an object is complex. If you want to send only specific value, you can send. That is done by using this technique. So let's keep in a simple example. See now, I am having 3 buttons like insert, update, and delete. Now these 3 buttons should do 3 different functionalities. If they have to do 3 different functionalities, then we need to write 3 different functions. But one function can manage that. How? Every button we will give a value insert, and this button we will give a value update, and this we will give a value delete. We have only one function called database. Into that we will send that value. So that means on click, we will call database function. Into that we will send this dot value. That's it. The same should be done for all 3. All 3 they will send their values. Now here value contains insert, update, delete words. Then I will write a switch. Into that I will pass the value, and we will write a case. If it is insert, then we will put document.write, record inserted, and break. And we will put a case. If it is update, then we will write document.write, record updated, and so break. And we have delete, and we have document.write, record deleted, record deleted. That's break. That's how we configure. That means now we have only one function managing all 3 buttons. Now you can see when I say update, record updated, delete, record deleted, and insert, record inserted. We don't need to write 3 functions. We can write only one function, and we can manage all the 3. So it's not mandatory to send all details of object. You can send only specific. We can send only specific details. So this is a general example here. You can send specific property. By using event you can do it, or by using this you can do it. So here an example for that. This is an example. You can also send custom properties, custom values into function. You can also send custom values into function. Function can get custom values also. You can send custom values into function. So default arguments, this send event. You can have custom values also. Custom values means, suppose instead of this here, let's see. Now I'm cleaning this here. Okay. Just I will create a function as here. So we have a button. and on click is suppose send message, and here I defined hi. So button on click, so on click, so send message, and here the button is welcome. Okay. Now here we have a function send message. This function is expecting a message. Here we can send a message saying that hi. And here we can send a message, welcome to JavaScript, something. We are sending custom. And here we have document.write MSG, whatever message they sent. Now here when I click hi, then it says hi. I click welcome, it says welcome to JavaScript. We are not sending object related properties. We are not sending event related properties. We are sending our own. We can send all three because you can have any number of parameters. You can collect all three with one REST parameter. You can create one REST parameter and you can collect all of them. That means how you can create a REST parameter. You can create a REST parameter by using ... And now here you can have this and event and hi. That means now REST parameter MSG is an array with three things, this, event and hi. Now if it is an array, you know how to handle it. That means what we have to do, we can just put a destructing technique. In the destructing technique, obj and e and MSG. And this is coming from MSG. So that means message, I will give message. And this is coming from MSG. And here what we are doing, document.write. So suppose button have an name is hi. So btn hi. Okay. And this is having a name btn message. So here we are accessing. Here we are accessing simply. I will put here as name. And we are accessing obj.name. In the next line, I will access the event. If I want to access the event, that means X, client X, okay. We will access e.client X. In the next line, we will print the message. Message is the message we are defining. That means now you have three parameters configuring here. And you see, suppose here we have this and event and welcome to JavaScript. Now when I click on this, it will get all the details. And when I click on this, it will get those details. That means you can send default parameters, you can send custom parameters, you can send custom values. So you can use anything. No need to explain how to handle REST parameter. You already learned REST parameter. You already learned destructing technique. You know how to access them and use them. So event can have various types of parameters, custom values also into function. We can send custom values into function. So syntactically, so we can have a button on click is equal to some insert, and here so record inserted. This is the message we are sending into it. That means a function is expecting insert with a message, and that message you can use here, document.write MSG. That's how it is going to manage. So usually that is sending custom values. Event can handle so many things. Example is this. We can even send a custom value. Order is not important here. You can send event first, this later, high, but in the same order you have to collect here. That is important, right? So how you are passing is important, right? In the same way you have to collect them and use them. And why we need event arguments to handle various situations like this? We need event arguments. So we have event and event arguments. Event arguments. Now JavaScript. So JavaScript provides various browser events to handle various interactions. Remember, this is one very important point to remember is events are not related to controls. Events are not related to controls. So for example, that's what people very much think about it. Suppose we have a button. So we have a button. Now the question here is, what is the event for button? It can be anything. Don't think that click is event for button. So click is not related to button. Click is not related to button. So this event is not related to any control in HTML. You can use this click. You can use this click for a div, for an image, for a span, for a drop down, for a radio, for a list box, anywhere you can use. So you can use for a heading, anywhere you can click. So don't think that events are related to controls. Events are not related to controls. This event is related to browser. That is why we call browser events. Events are related to browser, and those events are used with various controls according to requirement. It doesn't mean that button should work for only click event. Button can work for double click. Button can work for mouse over. On mouse over also it can work. That means event is not related to control. Event is related to browser. And we use them with controls. Depending on situation and requirement, we use them with controls. So JavaScript provides various browser events to handle various interactions with controls in HTML page, with controls in HTML page. And these browser events are classified into various categories. So we have mouse events. We have mouse events like on mouse over, on mouse out, on mouse down, on mouse up, on mouse move, like this. We have like keyboard events like we have on key up, we have on key press, on key down. These are keyboard events. We have clipboard events. Clipboard events like on cut, on copy, on paste. These are clipboard events. We have button events. Button events means not related to button. We have button events like these button events are mouse button. Mouse button events. We have like on click. We have like on DBL click. Like on context menu. Context menu. These are button events. On click, on DBL click, on context menu. We have like form events. Form events like on submit. Like on reset. These comes under submitive form events. On submit, on reset, these are form events. We have selection events like on select start. So we have behavioral events like on load, like on unload, like on change. So these are behavioral events. On load, on unload, on change. Recently we have like we have touch events. These are related to touch screens. On touch start, on touch end, on touch move, like this. These are touch events. We have like timer events. Timer events like, so we call them as set interval, set timeout, clear interval, like clear timeout. All these comes under timer events. So many events are there. So events are not related to controls. Events are related to browser. We have various types of events to handle. Now, some of them we already learned. Some we have to see now how we can manage and how we can use. For example, suppose first we will see what are the mouse events here. Generally, mouse events are used to handle interactions related to mouse. For example, now I will write a simple logic here. So this body contains some image div. Okay, the div style height as 1000 pixel, and below the div I have an image source, public images, some flag.gif. So width is 50, height 50. I don't have any flag image there. Let's keep that images. Okay. I will copy into the project folder, into public images. I have that flag.gif. Okay. Now, actually, the technique, the concept of this is nothing but you see, there is a div 1000 pixel height that under that picture is present. In that case, what happens until I scroll down, I can't see that picture. At the bottom, it is there. That means whenever page is open, I cannot see the image. Right. Now, what I am doing here is body on mouse move. That means when mouse is moving on the body section, we will write event get position is a method. We will write a function get position. Now this method, this function should know the position x-axis, y-axis where you are moving. So we will send it by using event. Event sends E. We can get x position, y position. Now what I will do here, I will get this image. So ID is pick. Okay. Some flag. Okay. Here where flag is equal to document get element by ID flag, that is picture. Now for this, what I am doing is flag dot position, flag dot style dot position. The position I will give as fixed. Fixed means, it is removed from the flow. It is removed from the normal flow. Already we learned CSS positions. Fixed will remove from the normal flow. Okay. Then after removing normal flow, you have to give left and top. That means flag dot style dot left. Left is nothing but E dot client X position. That means when mouse is moving left and right, it is X position. You can get X position plus pixels. X position will get only number 200, 300. Style requires pixels. So that is the reason 300 plus pixel px you have to use. Similarly, flag dot style dot top. Top uses E dot client Y plus pixels. That means now you can see when I move the mouse, the picture is moving along with the mouse. That's simple. That means when you are moving the mouse, the picture is moving along with the mouse. Now what we have done is nothing, simple. Pick the position of mouse attached to image. That's it. We are picking the position of mouse and attaching to image. And when mouse is moving, that position is updating and sending to image. That means now this image is along with the mouse. You can see here. Let's do one thing. We will put console.log. Here we will put X position, Y position of mouse. We will access X is equal to E dot client X and Y is equal to E dot client Y. Okay. Now I will open this here, inspect, and go to the console. And you can see here, I refresh. Now when I'm moving the mouse position, XY positions are updated. So when I'm moving the mouse, XY position is updated. This updated position is applied to image. That means the mouse position is equal to image position. That means image will be along with the mouse when you are scrolling it. That is simple technique we are using. That means we are defining actions to perform when mouse is moving, while mouse is moving, we want to display. You see so many websites, you don't need to click. There is a color panel. You move the mouse onto color, it will get the color code and it will apply that color. It will not wait until you click. You don't need to click the color. You have to just move the pointer over the color shade. That shade will be displayed there. It will get the shade, it will display that. That means while moving itself, we need to perform certain functionality that we can do by using this mouse move event. This is the mouse move event. That means when mouse is moving, do some functionality. Similarly, when mouse is down, one work, up another work, so over another work. For that, we will see how to use them in real world examples. That we'll see tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow, we will discuss about all other events. This knowledge is very important because this you will use in React, Angular, jQuery, everywhere. There we don't repeat this again. We just use it, right? Because that is the reason strictly we say people trying to learn advanced technologies based on JavaScript, they should have complete knowledge of JavaScript. Otherwise, they can't handle, because people cannot waste time in Angular and React teaching you what is event. They just use events. Nobody in the world teaches how event is written in Angular or React. Only they will show you that this is how we do in Angular, this is how you do in your JavaScript. So you need to be aware of these techniques in JavaScript that you will implement in every location, right? That we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we'll continue. Tomorrow we'll see some examples on this mouse. Okay.